John, nice to see you.
Thanks for coming.
I want to talk first about Iran. What's the story with the Iran nuke deal? Is the president going to keep it or not keep it?
Well, the president's been very outspoken about his disdain for the Iran nuclear deal. Thought it was a bad deal when we signed it. Thought it was not in the interest of the United States. Thought we gave away too much to Iran. And he continues to have major issues with it. Today was the first step in showing our displeasure. 25 sanctions were issued against individuals and entities that support their ballistic missile program. Look, Iran got basically a sweetheart deal. They should be pleased with what the United States did, and instead they've been provocative and irresponsible. And the president's actions today show that he is going to not leave those actions unchecked. And they are the first step in a sign that there's a new administration.
Well, I think you said they're playing with fire.
They are. I mean, Iran should not be provoking us. They got a sweetheart deal. They're getting a lot from the United States, and I think the United States needs to make sure that they understand that if they act out of the provisions of the agreement, that we are going to act.
Well, the ballistic missile test doesn't seem to have violated the missile.
No, but I think
the deal with the U.S., right?
Right. No, it's not a direct violation.
And what about the UN resolution 2231? Does it violate
I think
that?
there's no question that it violates the spirit of that. And I think that our actions today are in direct response to their support of.
So they're trying to provoke us.
They are. There's no question. There's no question about that.
Have you heard from Israel on it?
The president, Prime Minister Netanyahu, is coming here on February 15th. We've been in contact with Ambassador Dermer, but I'm not going to get into any of those discussions.
Why do you think Iran's doing this? I know historically they'd like to do that.
I think for 8 years they got away with it, and I think there's some degree to which they want to know how much has changed. And I think the president spoke and acted very, very forcefully by letting them understand that this is not the administration that they've been dealing with the last 8 years, and the United States is going to reassert its place.
All right, sanctions have been imposed today. Mm-hmm. Military action off the table or on the table? Everything's still on the table?
Look, if you've heard Donald Trump talk throughout the campaign, the reason that he's so successful as a negotiator is he doesn't take things off the table. He doesn't talk about what he's going to do. He doesn't telegraph it. It's the worst thing someone can do in trying to negotiate. He leaves everything on the table, but he understands the consequences of various action would be. But he's going to make sure that Iran understands that he's going to not sit back and let the United States be treated this way for a deal in which they should be very thankful.
Has he spoken with our allies, like with France or Germany or the UK on this? Because obviously the sanctions would, if we have help from these other nations, they'll have more teeth.
Right. Well, he's spoken to President Hollande and Chancellor Merkel last weekend.
Since the missile launch?
Not since the missile launch. And again, I don't want to get into it, but he's in constant contact, and our national security team is constantly in touch with our allies throughout Europe, especially to discuss these actions.
Is there any response to what Iran said? I think Iran said that I think they took a slap at the president, saying he's inexperienced.
Yeah, well, I think Iran's going to feel the might of these sanctions, and if they continue to act so, I think the president's been very clear that there's more to come, and they're playing with fire.
You mentioned Prime Minister Netanyahu, who will be here on the 15th of February, which is a neighbor of Iran. But you also talked today about the settlements, and you said that the prior settlements, I don't mean to I hope I don't misquote you, are not an impediment to peace, but that future ones might be.
That's right. And I think that's look, we're going to have a long discussion with Prime Minister Netanyahu when he's here. But the settlement shouldn't be an obstacle to peace. I don't think further settlements will further that goal, but we'll have that conversation with the Prime Minister when he's here. President Trump's goal, anyway, is to have peace in the region and in the Middle East. And so it's something that he is going to continue to push really hard for, to figure out how we can achieve that elusive goal of peace between these two neighbors.
Do you still expect the U.S. Embassy to move from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem?
I think that we're at the beginning phases of that discussion within the administration.
You have any doubt that's going to happen?
I think the president may discuss that during the campaign, and I think right now he has tasked his senior team to begin those deliberations internally to figure out what that would look like and mean.
Ambassador Haley, for our UN ambassador, it was very hard what she said about Russia. Basically, if you don't get out of Crimea, get out of Crimea or else.
Right.
Was that the ambassador speaking, or is that she's speaking for the president?
She was speaking on behalf of the president. I mean, look, I think Russia. There were sanctions that were put in 2015 to deal with Russia's occupation of Crimea. And we've been very clear that we're not going to lift those sanctions until they exit Crimea.
Do you expect additional sanctions? Because apparently they didn't have much effect. They're still there.
Well, I think the president's begun conversations with President Putin. He's going to make it very clear what his position is, not just with respect to Ukraine, but with respect to our entire, geopolitical landscape and our national security interests. So that's going to be part of a broader conversation that continues to happen. But I think with respect to the sanctions that were imposed specifically because of Russia's occupation of Crimea, those sanctions are going to stay in place until they withdraw.
Our Secretary of Defense is in Japan today, having been in South Korea. And North Korea is forever rattling its saber with its nuclear weapons. And during the campaign, candidate Donald Trump said that he said sort of off the cuff about Japan getting nuclear weapons, that maybe they'd be better off about it or some of that. Right. Where does the president stand with that whole sort of that area in Southeast Asia? Well,
he understands how vital it is to our national interests. That's why Secretary Mattis went over there right away after he was sworn in to reaffirm our commitment to that area of the globe and to making sure they understand we support them, whether it's South Korea and making sure that they understand that Pyongyang and North Korea don't pose a threat to them or anyone in the region, but also to reaffirm our commitment to the Japanese. So we understand its place. It's a very important strategic place for us around the globe.
I've been there a number of times, and I got to tell you, that's like, it's a very unpredictable place, North Korea is, and it seems like we have very low information coming out of it, and very dangerous. And everyone says we're never going to let North Korea go nuclear. Well, they are nuclear. They've tested 5 times successfully. How concerned is the president about North Korea? There is one report that they may be starting up some of their weapons programs.
Well, obviously, it's an area that we're going to have to monitor here at the end of the second week. The president's concerned about their influence and their capabilities, and that's why, again, the first trip the Secretary Mattis took was to reaffirm our commitment to South Korea and our presence there on the DMZ, but also to Japan. He understands the importance of both of those nations in that area of the globe.
But usually with something like a nuclear weapon, it can be too late. To reassure
I understand that, but I think their capability of launching it and reaching the United States is still not there.
Yes, but Japan, but South Korea certainly.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's why, again, but I think making sure that we're over there, having those conversations with the Blue House to talk about our commitment to South Korea and making sure that there's a check on North Korea's capabilities.
Big world, isn't it? A lot of dangers. We've gone all across the globe. We've gone from Iran to Russia. Right. It's very dangerous.
And the president's going to be, on Monday, the president's going to travel down to Tampa to go to MacDill Air Force Base, the home of Central Command and Special Operations Command, to get a briefing from his commanders. Both get that briefing, then thanks the troops down there that are so bravely supporting the work that goes on around the globe. But you realize how important the work that those two commands do to ensuring our safety. And you realize, as you kind of enumerate, as you go around the globe, how many hotspots there are, and how many threats we face as a nation. And I think part of the reason that the president wanted to make sure that he got down to CENTCOM and SOCOM right away was because they play such an important role in keeping our country safe and making sure that those threats don't come into our homeland.
Full plate. And certainly dangerous.
Right.
Full plate. All right, let me talk about here at home.
Yeah.
Today, the president met with some business leaders, but the CEO of Uber didn't show up. He got pressure over the immigration.
Make some kind of joke about he didn't get a car ride or something.
All right, go ahead, have your chance.
No. Look, I think we had a lot of folks that wanted to attend that meeting. There were a lot of additional companies that wanted to be here. They understand that the president's agenda is one that's trying to lower the regulatory climate, get a better tax climate to grow jobs and grow our economy. That's why I think you saw so many massively successful companies gather today here, because they want to be part of this agenda. They understand that the president's got an agenda that's looking to ease the regulatory climate, to allow them to produce more, to manufacture more, to get more jobs in this country. And so we welcome additional companies who want to be part of that process. But every single day, whether it's pharmaceutical companies or car companies or manufacturing companies, we're having meetings where they're coming to the president and saying that they understand his agenda. They want to be part of it. They want to grow jobs. They want to bring jobs back. They want to, institute new manufacturing plants here in America. But it's a very infectious and positive spirit that is going throughout America, small businesses, large businesses, people who understand that if we change the business climate in this country and become more competitive, that we can grow the economy, we can grow jobs, we can lift up wages. I think that benefits every American.
But do you have any thought, though, on the fact that the CEO would be pressured into not coming?
He's got to answer to his employees and his shareholders, and that's his decision to make. Obviously, it's a great company. They've done, they've really helped transform how we travel. And that's a good thing. That innovation, that entrepreneurial spirit is still alive in America. That's a great thing. He's got to do what he's got to do, but the president was so proud to welcome so many of these other amazing companies. And the list of companies that wanted to be part of this continues to grow, because I think they understand where his mindset is and what he wants to do. And I think more companies continue to want to be part of that.
All the things that he wants to do, and he's during the campaign. I mean, actually, I don't think there are any surprises in what he's done so far.
I think
this is what he said he was going to do,
and he did it. But
totally.
you're not. And I think it's interesting, Greta, because so many times you hear excuses on why I can't do it. And I know I campaign out. This president came and he's followed through a domestic policy, and it's
without any doubt.
Right.
But he's sometimes he's going to have to go to Capitol Hill, and he's going to have to deal not only with problems with his own party, but he's also going to have to deal with Democrats. Right. Leader Pelosi made a comment the other day. She said that Stephen Bannon, one of your colleagues, is a white supremacist. How are you going to turn down the heat, or how do you get the temperature down? I mean, if that's where you're up.
First of all, I mean, can you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and we started throwing those? I mean, to make that kind of an outrageous charge is ridiculous, and it's not something that you would expect from her. But at the end of the day, I think what this president and what this team that he's assembled is going to do is, through action, not words, get things done. And you saw that, whether it's saving money.
So does he invite her up here and say, stop the name calling?
No, he doesn't. Look, I think that he is. He's already brought Republicans and Democrats, unions and businesses to the White House. The individuals that came to this business summit, some of them supported him, some of them didn't. The tech giants that met a couple weeks ago at Trump Tower, almost all of them had been very vocally against him during the campaign. He wants to get things done. He wants to put America back to work. And I think as the American people start seeing how his policies are geared towards keeping this country safe, our people safe, putting people back to work, it's through actions and deeds that he's going to show that this country's moving in the right direction.
Okay, I notice you're wearing a Fitbit. How many steps do you do a day?
About 10,000.
About 10,000 a day?
Yeah.
And doing more now in this job than your last job?
Definitely.
A lot more?
Definitely. Yeah.
What time do you get here in the morning?
I try to get here between 6:30 and 7.
And what time do you walk out of here?
Between 9 and 10.
Weekends, usually?
What's a weekend?
What's a weekend? Job exciting?
It's unbelievably. It's very exciting. You watch a president who's so dedicated to moving the country forward and so full of action. He gets every morning. There's meetings with businesses and companies.
What time does he start in this? I heard he sleeps 4 hours.
At best. I mean, he is a nonstop kind of guy.
But I heard he eats junk food, though.
Look, he's in great shape.
I didn't say that. I said I heard he ate junk food.
Well, we all have our foods or whatever, but he's in great shape. He's excited. He's energized. He just loves getting things done. And it's amazing watching him work. It's infectious. And I think it goes through the entire staff that we're excited to be here and excited to be part of enacting his agenda.
What's it like to walk into the White House every morning?
It's pretty. It never gets old. And it really is. It's humbling and it's an honor. Every time you walk in that door and realize that you are among a very, very privileged number of Americans who get to work here. It is truly the people's house. And it is a finite time that you're here, and you realize that you've got so much time to enact change for the American people, and you try to make sure that you use every minute of every hour of every day.
All right, I'm going to do you a favor, but you're going to lose half the country. Who's going to win this weekend?
America. You know, it's the Patriots. They're America's team. Look, I'm a lifelong Patriots fan.
I don't blame you for being a Patriots fan.
I want you to say, look, you used to say "Go Pack Go."
I still say "Go Pack Go."
No, see, I keep hearing you say "Go Pats Go."
No, Go Pack Go. But Atlanta, they deserved that was quite a game. I got to give Atlanta credit. Anyway,
well, they did a good job. They beat the Packers, but now it's on to hand another Super Bowl trophy to Tom Brady.
Right.
And
nice to see you, Sean.
Thanks a lot.
Nice to see you.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.